Hello everyone, my name is Anastasiia Stoianova and we are starting our lessons, our CELPIP lessons. Today's lesson is going to be about part 1, CELPIP Listening. So that's how your official CELPIP test starts. Before we jump into the practice on the platform, I invite you to talk about it a little bit and talk about the task format, some strategies. So as you could see here, we'll talk about what to track when you listen, because while you listen, you have to take notes because the questions come after the audio, so that's very important. I'll talk about the 3-column methods and also some signal words that can help us understand what's going on in the listening and kind of understand what to pay attention to. First, task format. So as you could see here, this is the screenshot from the official website, celpip.ca. And the first part is called problem solving, listening to problem solving. And it consists of 3 sections. So technically, about 4 minutes of the audio is broken into 3 sections. You listen to the first bit, it's 1 minute, and then you hear 2 questions. And I say hear because you don't see questions. You actually have to pay attention to the question and then make your choice A, B, C, D based on what you hear. And usually questions can be just a multiple choice text, or sometimes you could see the picture like here. The audio plays once, so that's important. No replay, no pause, no rewind. Only for the purpose of practice, we created this opportunity on our platform, but you can also choose the test mode and practice in the test mode without this opportunity to replay, pause, and so on. Check my website and you will find the platform there, but you will see in this video, we'll do it together. So, what to track in the conversation. So please keep track of the problem, topic and problem. Topic for every part, but just because this part is called listening to problem solving, so you have to pay attention to the problem and understand whose problem it is, how they try to solve it. Sometimes multiple solutions are offered and you have to listen to which one is chosen and why. And also the reaction, who agrees, who has doubts, and the outcome, what did they decide to do, right? So the 3-column method that I recommend, you can adapt it. Some people make just 2 columns, man and woman, and then just note whoever said what. Try for yourself. I recommend just listing problem, solutions, and the outcome, like this. You could also, if you want to adapt, like I said, make 2 columns and then 3 lines instead. So who talks about the problem, man or woman, for example? Who offers the solution, man or woman? So sometimes the way questions are phrased is that, what did the woman say about this, for example? So you have to pay attention to the gender, so who is speaking, a woman or a man? But it's up to you. This method totally works. It has been tested, tried and tested by my students and myself. So signal words, what to pay attention to. When the problem is introduced, you might hear something like that. The issue is, or unfortunately, or, we are having trouble with, or I'm having trouble with, I'm worried that. And then the solution, when it's coming in the audio, you might hear something like, let's try, or maybe we can, or how about doing something, blah, blah, blah. And actually, sometimes what you hear, you hear this and it's your signal. You note in the column, for example, you note the gist, the main idea, what's the problem here. So whenever you hear the word, just write it in the column, and then, you could just write one keyword. You don't have to write the whole sentence. Now, I want us to move to practice, and we're gonna practice the real task. It's on my platform, English Stoianova. That's my last name, stoianova.ca/app/. And I'm going to show you here on the platform. Here we go. We have this practice mode that we could use to practice. And today we talk about the first part. By the way, guys, I will be creating separate videos for every part of the test, reading as well as speaking, and I will be showing you everything on the platform. So let's go. And today, doesn't matter which one we do, there are 30 tests right now on the platform. You could practice, enjoy. We're gonna do number 3, doesn't matter which one. And what helps a lot is that on the test, you also have a little bit of context. For example, here, we see that you hear a conversation between two people at a government service center. So never skip the instructions. Just the same way it's going to be on a real test, on a real CELPIP exam. They introduce a little bit of context. So one person works at the center, the other one is client seeking help with a work permit. And prepare your columns. Yeah, you could say a problem, solutions, outcomes. Let's go and think about the topic in general.
Good morning. Welcome to the Settlement and Immigration Services Center. How can I help you today?
Hi, good morning. I'm hoping you can help me. I got a letter from the immigration office saying my work permit application was put on hold, and I'm not really sure why.
Oh, I see. That can definitely be stressful. Do you have the letter with you?
Yes, right here. I applied about 6 weeks ago. Actually, wait, it was closer to 8 weeks ago, and I haven't heard anything other than this letter.
Okay, let me take a look. It says here that your application is missing a supporting document, specifically a letter from your employer confirming your current job offer.
Oh no, I thought I had included everything. I remember attaching my contract, but I must have missed the employer letter.
It happens more often than you'd think. The good news is that this is fixable. It's not a refusal, just a pause in processing.
Question 1. Why did Aisha visit the Immigration Service Center?
Why did she visit? So the purpose, yes, the purpose. What was her problem? And we have some options here. Her work permit had been denied. She had received no communication. 30 seconds for each question. Pay attention. On the exam, once the time is up, you can't stay on the same page. It will move to the next page automatically. But just because we are practicing, it's the practice mode, then we can stay and discuss and take a look. So as you could see here, her problem was that it's not like she wanted a new application, or it's not like they denied it, so we can eliminate these options. And we only have two left. She had received no communication, or she needed help understanding why her application was paused. Yeah. So actually, why number 2 is not correct, because she had received a letter and she specifically said that. She explicitly said that. So we cannot choose this one, right? That's why we have to choose this, because that's closest to what we heard in the text. And I will show you the transcript, the overall transcript at the end of this conversation of this. So she needed help understanding why her application was paused. She used the paraphrase for the word paused. She said was put on hold. So we have to watch out for the paraphrase, because even though part 1 is a bit easier, right? Because every part of the listening, there are 6 parts overall, becomes a bit harder. You got to pay attention, because every part will be a bit harder, even beginning from the first question, because you see they always change the words to express the same meaning. All right, so let's go into the second question.
Question 2. What detail does Aisha correct herself about during the conversation?
Okay, I could even show you, right? But on the exam, you cannot see the question and you cannot replay it. What detail does she correct herself about? So, do you remember? She was saying something about weeks, 6 weeks ago, and then she said, oh no, closer to 8 weeks ago. It was actually, take a look at the ABCD here, the office where she submitted her application, the reason her application was placed on hold, how long ago, what the name of the document she forgot. Of course, how long ago, because she was talking about weeks, right? So she corrected herself, and that's the right answer. And we'll check the right answers, by the way, whenever you practice on the platform on your own. You could also check out our course lessons here on the left, as you could see. And you could read more about the strategies, because there are even more life hacks, what to pay attention to, all right? So, and the answers are explained at the end. So every answer that you provide here on the platform is explained, also why it's correct, why it's incorrect. So we'll take a look at it. And now, are you ready for question 3? Let's go.
That's a relief. So, what do I need to do to get things moving again?
You'll need to submit the missing employer letter. There are a couple of ways you can do that. You could upload it directly through the online portal. That's usually the fastest option. Or, if your employer prefers, they can send it by mail to the processing center in Ottawa.
I'd prefer to do the online option if it's quicker, but I'm not sure my employer has written this kind of letter before. Does it need to follow a specific format?
There's no strict template, but it does need to include a few key things: the company's letterhead, your job title, your start date, and confirmation that the position is still available.
That doesn't sound too complicated. I can ask my HR department today.
Great. And once your employer sends it to you, you should upload it as soon as possible, because the office has given a 30-day window to respond before the application is formally closed.
30 days. Okay, that's actually manageable. I'll get on it right away.
Question 3. What are the 2 ways Aisha can submit the missing document?
Okay, 2 ways. And remember what they said. We have 4 options, so they are just testing specific detail here. By having her employer deliver it in person or uploading a scanned copy. I don't remember anything about in person. Do you? Did you take any notes? Uploading it online or having her employer mail it. Sounds about right. Let's check the rest. By mailing to the service center, dropping it off directly. No. Fax. No fax. Yeah? So you see sometimes just by eliminating the answers and just if you have it right into your notes, you can always take a look because she was saying that, yeah, her employer can mail it or online. And then she chose online, if I'm not mistaken. If you remember, we can always re-listen, right? If we are practicing, but not on a real test. On a real test, you cannot rewind or replay. All right, so good. So far, so good. Let's go next.
Question 4. Which submission method does Aisha prefer and why?
Okay, which submission method does she prefer and why? Mail, online portal, in person, or email? Remember, she said she needs it fast, right? So the online portal, all right, because it's faster. So here we go. And this one would be wrong because they talked about a certain format, right? So yeah, okay, good.
Question 5. What will happen to Aisha's application if she does not submit the document in time?
If she does not submit a document in time, what happens? It will be returned for resubmission from the beginning. Not quite, right? But they said that it's going to be formally closed, something like that. If you were taking notes, you would write something like that. Yeah, formally closed. And that's actually, this option was not paraphrased, right? Because they said there is a 30-day window to respond before the application is formally closed. So that's the actual answer. And now we are moving into the last section of this listening, right? Always remember that the first part of the listening is broken into 3 parts, right? So it's the same context, the same people, the same problem, more details. So try to pay attention to details here. Are they going to be more solutions maybe, or maybe more problems? Let's listen.
Once you've uploaded the document, processing should resume within about 2 to 3 weeks, assuming everything else on your file is in order.
And what if something else comes up, like another document is missing? Will I get another letter?
Yes, they'd send you another notification, but honestly, based on what I can see here, your file looks fairly complete otherwise. The employer letter really does seem to be the only gap.
Okay, that's reassuring. I was worried this might delay things by months.
I understand. These situations can feel overwhelming, especially when your ability to work depends on it. But you're in a good position. It's a straightforward fix.
I suppose I was also wondering, if my current work permit expires before the new one is approved, am I still allowed to work?
Yes, as long as you applied before your current permit expired, you're covered under what's called maintained status. So you can continue working while your application is being processed.
Oh, I didn't know that. That actually takes a huge weight off my shoulders. Thank you so much.
Of course. Good luck. I think you'll get this sorted out quickly.
Question 6. How does Kofi assess the overall state of Aisha's application file?
The overall state, yeah, so what's going on? Is it good, not good, yeah? He recommends that she start a new application to avoid further delays. He's uncertain whether the file meets the necessary requirements. He thinks it's mostly in order, apart from the one missing letter. He believes several more documents are likely missing. If you remember, they mentioned a certain detail about the letter, right? So we need to choose whatever is closer to what was mentioned. He said that it should be fine, right? He was saying it looks fairly complete, yeah? And the employer letter is missing. So that's what we have to choose here, right? And sometimes we have tricky options, yeah? Like this one, he's uncertain whether the file meets the necessary requirements. This one is too general. If we have something that's more specific and that is related to what we have just listened to, you gotta choose the one that's more specific, yes, over the more general option. By the way, guys, also my recommendation, if you work on your own using the platform, you can even open the same link in a separate tab and check the transcript if you need, for example, if you're doing on your own, right? Just a tip for you. Okay, and we have 2 more questions, and that would be the end of part 1. Let's go.
Question 7. What does the concept of maintained status allow Aisha to do?
Okay, maintained status. So it's like she will keep her working status, yeah? And if you heard, so extend her application deadline. She can do it thanks to her status. She can apply for PR. No, we haven't heard anything about it. We can say no here for sure. Continue working legally, even if her current permit expires. Or receive financial support from the government. This one, no. This one, no. So we only hear this one and this one. What did you hear? Did you write anything for this question? Can she extend the deadline? No, not really, yeah? But she can continue working legally. This one is pretty straightforward, and they actually said it the way it is, right? As long as she applied before her permit expired, she can continue working. So that's the thing about it. And we are moving into the last question. Let's go.
Question 8. How does Aisha feel after learning about maintained status?
Okay, how does she feel? And by the way, the question about feelings comes up a lot in this part and in the other parts of the listening. So pay attention to feelings of a speaker. Frustrated? Indifferent, relieved, confused. So look, she felt positive, right? And you can straight away, just knowing the meanings, frustrated, indifferent, these are all kind of negative meanings. The only positive one is this one, which is the right answer. Relieved because a major source of anxiety has been removed. Yeah, so what she said was, oh, it takes a huge weight off my shoulders. Yeah, it means that she felt better. It's like the explanation of this adjective. What it means. It means that, oh, I felt better. Here we go. And that's the end of part 1. Let's review the answers. Yay, we got all of them correct. And here you can expand the transcript. And I also give you advice. My advice is to work with the transcript by looking at the new words that you don't know, by writing them down. In that way, even if you test yourself, you practice and you learn more, you learn new vocabulary. And like I said, for every question, there is the explanation, if it's correct or incorrect, yes, and why it's incorrect. Maybe if you chose incorrectly, this will explain why the answer is correct or incorrect. And as you could see, all 8 questions are like that. So it's a nice way to practice. There is also the exam mode that you could practice, and then you can practice all the parts non-stop, listening and then reading, writing, and so on. And that's also available on your dashboard. There's also the lesson for every part that I give that gives more strategies to you, more life hacks. And I highly recommend purchasing the subscription to our platform by Anastasiia Stoianova on englishstoianova.ca, because I'm a real person. I'm a methodologist, a CELPIP instructor with a vast experience with many students and a great success. So please stay in touch with me, and also please check out our platform, and I will continue in the next lesson and we'll talk about part 2, listening part 2. See you soon and good luck on your exam.